implant technology is being used in many varied ways, but usually to overcome the mundane. For example, physical access control is the most widely used application, and that's to enter into your home, into vehicles. Hobbyists, as they're known, or grinders in some other ways, usually your typical everyday citizens, but with an edge. Many of them have previously experimented with piercing or tattooing, and others are more entrepreneurial. They are avid users of computer technology and smartphone applications, and they're trying to hack into the next revolution of biohacking using the interface between the body and technology. And I've asked individual future users, would you take an implant? You know, you've got tattoos, you've got piercing, would you go to the next step? And they would, they say, if everybody wasn't doing it. So there's a novelty effect where people are thinking it's a new fad, they'll be trendsetters. Of course, there are also other people in the biohacking space that think that humans will evolve into another species, like a transhuman or post-human species, a super intelligent species that will be endowed with technology to ambiently automate the world around them. Well, there are a lot of socio-ethical concerns to do with transhumanism and people bringing external technologies, not just lugging them around and wearing them, but bringing them into the body. And they range from things like human rights to freedom and autonomy to whether somebody in the future will have the edge over an applicant in a job interview because they have additional sensory capabilities, to things like, well, you know, just having control over somebody else's body via that implant remotely. Moving on to perhaps brain implants for cognitive enhancement. These are things like memory chips that let you, for example, have access to the internet via memory enhancements and give you additional cognitive abilities and affectual capabilities. For example, making you superhuman, being able to hear further away through these enhancements and amplifications. Now, these have huge implications. I mean, imagine a hacker of the future remotely hacking into your brain via cognitive implantation and being able to make you feel more anxious over a particular situation or context, even to know your thoughts in the future, whether particular items at a retail store make you impulsively change your ways to purchase. And it's got a huge implications for marketing, for control and care, and health in general. Reason I'd like us to retain our humanity for the reasons of freedom. I think introducing technology into the body will enslave humans and allow them to be controlled by powerful forces, whether they're future fascist governments, dictators, or particular totalitarian communities and societies. I think we're letting ourselves in for a huge shock. Once we embed technology, we can't remove it by ourselves. We're at the mercy of a third party who needs to surgically remove that implant, and I believe we're making ourselves increasingly vulnerable to security exposures. I think we were born this way for a reason. Whether you have ideological, philosophical or spiritual reasons for not wishing to take on an implant, I think the jury's out. I think at least 50% of everyday citizens would not like to see that blue screen of death that we experience on an everyday computer being introduced into the body.